Last but not least is our final panelist, Dr. Hasmukh Lal, who is currently the Chief Executive Officer of Tertiary Scholarships and Loan Services, also commonly known as TESOLS. The organization is celebrating its 10-year anniversary, and under his leadership, TESOLS has undergone a number of transformations in service delivery, awareness and communication, automated and technology-enabled processes, stakeholder engagements, and strengthening of governance, which has led to winning of Fiji Business Excellence Awards at commitment level in 2022 and 2023, respectively. Prior to this role, he was founding director and chief executive officer of the Pacific Technical and Further Education, also known as TAFE, at the University of the South Pacific. Dr. Lal is the recipient of 3 international awards: the Triple E Award, runner-up Asia Pacific Entrepreneurial Leader in Higher Education by Accreditation Council of Entrepreneurial and Engaged Universities, the Bronze Award for Entrepreneurial Leader by World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics 2020, and a Fellow for Commitment to Quality by International Center for Excellence in Tourism and Hospitality Education in 2018. He has led development and offering of 36 qualifications based on labor market demand at the University of the South Pacific and obtained various national and international accreditations. We welcome to the podium Dr. Lal. Thank you.
Thank you. The board chairman, Mr. Namarim Burasuva, the executive director of Dialogue Fiji, the esteemed panelists, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, I think the chairman of Dialogue Fiji would have been a good panelist also, because he has got the teaching experience at the university level. Way back in 2013, when I was the director and the founding CEO for Pacific TAFE, I engaged him to develop my project management program, and he also taught for so many years. So he's got a lot of experience at teaching at the university level also. Now, I think, being cognizant of the time, I will be quite fast in terms of going through the slides. But I think, something that, we do is that when we come to the panel discussion is that the few things, we do is the simple thing is that to pass the blame or blame someone or conceal the problem. Unless until we don't call a spade, that means we are not diagnosing the root cause of the problem, and we're not coming up with the solution, which is sustainable and is ownership by the key stakeholders. Now, of course, we know we know very well that the OECD countries, they're experiencing decline in birth rates, and Fiji is no exemption. We are also experiencing decline in the birth rate. We have got aging population, and our labor force participation is decreasing. And I must tell you that you will be surprised with the data I'll be presenting in terms of why our labor force participation will be reducing if we only look at the students who are coming out from the year 13 system. Now, I have got the data here to present to all of you that last year, 7,717 students they set for year 13. And out of that, 5,166 students, they scored above 250. Now, out of the 7,770 students, only 3,964 students, they applied to have scholarship with TSLS. Where is the greater 50% going to? They don't want to be bonded. If they're studying privately here, or they have gone for the studies abroad. So these are some of the concerns we need to look at, and I'll explain you why our labor force participation will decline unless and until we come up with strategies. Of course, there's a strategy which TSLS is trying to implement from last 2 years, and we'll further expand that because we've got a lot of dropouts from year 10, year 11 who are out in the villages. We need to get them in through some form of pathway to be trained so that they become active in our labor force participation. Now, what I'll be presenting today is that, in 2014, the priority areas for scholarships were established. Now, after the COVID, we entered the new normal, the labor market dynamics changed. So we engaged the Fijian government commission a review, and we engaged Professor Hitendra Pillai from Queensland University of Technology, who's an international labor market expert. He does similar assignments in labor market in so many countries engaged by World Bank and IDB. Currently, he's the chief technical advisor for IDB, advising on skills development in Fiji. So this report was, this review was done for 7 months. The report was prepared and has been given to the government. Now, this is a document which is used as a national planning document in terms of the scholarship investment design. And of course, this will be incorporated into the national development plan, which currently the government is working on. So I will just skim through some of the findings. There are a number of findings, and this report is available online. You can access this from the TSLS website, or if you need a hard copy, we can definitely give you at TSLS. Now, what he touched on was the quality. I've got a number of examples, but I will not tell all. He says when he was consulting the employers were quite blunt, and they didn't mince their word, that when they absorb the graduates, regardless of whether they're TVET or higher education graduates, they have to retrain them. Some said 6 months, some said 12 months, and one of the bigger employers said 18 months of training before they really get adjusted to the work environment. Relevance. We see that the students who graduate are not working in the area that they have been trained into. You work across all the customer service offices in Fiji, you'll see students with accounting, management, all sorts of qualifications they are serving as customer service officers. We had oversupply of graduates in certain areas prior to COVID. Thankfully, we have got a thriving BPO sector, because for BPO sector, you don't need a technical qualification as far as you articulate and you can speak well and you can comprehend instruction. So we have got number of the degree holders and diploma holders. They've gone into the BPO sector without having a technical qualification. So that's a place where relevance is coming. We have got issues of oversupply because Fiji is a small market. So certain areas, we need to make the scholarship dormant. We need to make our offerings dormant. Now it's a challenge for the universities. They have got the staff engaged. They have got the employment law to honor how they can, relieve the staff if they make the program dormant. So that's a challenge. There's a shared challenge that we have to make funding of some programs dormant for a period until the market again establishes itself. Because we're a small island economy, we can't be pushing out graduates, creating oversupply. Mismatch of investment. Now, the 2019 Bureau of Stats survey or the data shows that out of 180,000 people in employment, that excludes the people who were into self-employment and those who were into subsistence employment, 180,000 people were in employment, dependent employment. Out of that, 108,000 people were wage earners. Now, wage earners by global benchmark are denoted as TVET type of graduates. It shows that our industry needs 60% of TVET graduates in our economy. We have been investing more into the higher education program. So we have to balance that because our economy or our employers, they have to adjust the graduates who are coming because they need more people at the entry level, at the paraprofessional level. Duplications, again, small island economy, we have got universities because they have got the self-accrediting status, self-accreditation status. They accredit the program, and we have got a number of duplications also with the providers who are also applying to get provider qualification approval from Fiji Higher Education Commission. So duplication is not helping the economy. Of course, healthy competition is welcome, but neck-to-neck competition is not healthy for a country like Fiji. We need something else which came up, work ethics and performance. I'll not touch on that. The graduates are not having the right type of work attitude and work ethics, and it's a big concern for the employers also. Diversifying the economy. Fiji is an agro-based country, so there's a huge potential to diversify into agriculture. BPO sector is thriving, and of course, there'll be more investments coming once we get connected to the world through the Google, that they're having the landing station, plus the Elon Musk owned company also doing the investment over here. So there's a huge potential because you've got a young population. That's why we call it, we have got the population under the age of 40, which is around 60%. So we can really use this population bracket to make Fiji a knowledge economy. India has used this population bracket to what it is today compared to 15 years back. Now, I want to go into the data there. Okay. once a teacher, always a teacher. So TSLS has got this probation system. The students, when they get the scholarship agreement, those who are on the merit scholarship, what was known as the National Topper Scheme, they need to have cumulative 65% pass, right, to maintain their scholarship. Those who are on the scholarship with the cutoff mark of 250, what was known as TELS, they need to have 50% pass in first year and 75% pass rate in the second year and third year. Now, in 2021, we funded 14,617 students. Out of that, 5,759 students went on probation. Alarming percentage, 39%. 2022, we had 40% students who went on probation, performing below the academic expectation as per the scholarship agreement. 2023, we had 37%. We have also got a disaggregate data by institutions also. But of course, I will not make it public because, I'm very much concerned about the reputation of the universities or the providers. So this is concerning to the taxpayers of the country. Next slide, please. Now, for MBBS, we just picked up a sample data. From 2014 to 2018, we have funded 815 students, 695 they graduated. That makes 85% of the completion rate. We don't know where the 15% has gone to. Aircraft engineering students. Just like yesterday, I received a call from Minister for Civil Aviation, Honorable Deputy PM, Honorable Govaka, asking how many scholarships we give for aircraft maintenance engineering. Because the Australian Minister for International Development and Pacific was here, and he's given some scholarship to the aircraft maintenance engineering also. So I said, say, we give scholarship, but look at the completion rate. Next slide, please. Now, accounting, regardless of the university. In 2017, we funded 608 students to do bachelor in accounting, regardless of the university. I think this is a little bit interesting, so people want to hear, maybe. Two more minutes, Grace. 55% only completed. 2018, 45% completed. 2019, 46. 2020, 41. Next slide, please. Engineering. Here, only 45% completed. 33% 2018, 29% this alarming. And then you can look at 2020, of course that was a COVID year, so we can accept that. But look at 2019, 32. The Fiji Institute of Engineers, we got an agreement that told us that they need more engineers at diploma and postgrad level. But the diploma level engineering completion rate is very alarming. Now IT. This is the number we funded, and you can see the data, the completion rate, below 50%. And these students are using the taxpayer money. Next slide. Pilot training. I think being conscious of the time, I will not tell the history and how we've improved upon this. Tourism and hospitality. Total students funded at the bachelor's level, 681, 20% completion rate. We need more TVET graduates in the industry. That's what Director FIGC has said, and I agree, because I've developed qualifications in tourism and hospitality. We need 1 degree holder in a 3-star hotel, and about 100 people with TVET qualification in F&B, in cooking, in serving, in front office. We funded 2,700 from 2018 to 2022. 41% of them, they have graduated. Next slide. Now, we took the feedback from the students. Why they are not completing? Why they are going on probation? Why are they getting suspended? Institution related? Not passionate about the program. They've been asked to do the program which they are not passionate about. Typically because of misleading marketing and public information by the universities during the enrollment drives and advertising. We're not saying that. Students are saying that. Right? I'm sitting on the fence whether tertiary education is a social good or is a commercial commodity. We have to make a decision. Teaching and learning, students have raised that a lot of institutional teaching approaches comprises of self-learning, very different from high school. Most times they are asked to learn concept of YouTube or other internet means. Lecturers merely read off the slides without explaining much. Students show up to the classes and classes get cancelled as teachers are away. Concepts are not explained well and practical aspect is missing. That's from the students. Now, Now, next slide, please. This is the problem the students face themselves. So some, they give this reason, these two reasons. There are a number of reasons, so we have prioritized. Family problems, relationship issue, of course, we know that happens at the university level. Next slide. What is TSLS doing? So, being a scholarship agency, we need to expand our scope. What we are now investing in learning support, we're providing non-technical learning support, not subject matter related. We're providing industry mentoring. We are calling the industry people to mentor our students who are sponsored. We have created post-graduation care. Those students who graduate, we teach them how to go for interview, how to write the resume, how to prepare for interview. Employer Connect portal. We have got a portal where the students, they put their profile, the CV, everything, and employers can see, they can also advertise a seamless recruitment process. We have also approved 20 hours of part-time work for the students. At least they start getting the industry exposure. Added more tertiary training institutions. We are actually funding 2 TVET institutions. Now we're funding about 10 TVET institutions because there's a demand for TVET graduates in the industry. Innovative and diversified scheme. I will just touch on one that we have got this macro qualification grant in construction, in automotive, in tourism. And we're expanding to 2 other areas in the budget process. That's a confidential thing I can't tell you now. Why automotive and construction? Because these 2 are the basic barometers of economic development in any country. If construction is growing, vehicles are being sold, the economy is growing. Basic. So we invested in that. Because we had a lot of youth in the villages that we trained them. We asked them to take up this grant, get trained in block laying, in painting, in cabinet making, in tile laying, in automotive, basics of body repair, basics of panel beating. And of course, we had to add tourism because 30% of our workforce, they didn't go back to tourism industry. They moved on in their life when they were made redundant during the COVID. So there are a lot of mothers, right? The kids are going to school. So we give this grant to them. They get trained by their nearby hotels or the providers, and they get absorbed in terms of what is this called? Housekeeping. At least they're getting into meaningful employment. What needs to be done? Macro level growth and development sectors. What I want to sound out here to the academic planners sitting over here and also to the audience, that if you want to do macro level analysis in terms of academic planning or policy making, we need to look at where our GDP is growing. Which industry sectors are contributing how much to our GDP? For example, Bureau of Stats is saying manufacturing is contributing 10.7% to our GDP and has got 23,000 people employed and is positioned to grow. So we know there will be growth in manufacturing industry. Let's develop program because they need more human capital. So this kind of macro analysis needs to be done. National standards for qualifications led by industry. In Australia, the industry drives TVET, not the providers. Industry develops the standard, gives to the regulator, Australian Skills Quality Authority, and those providers who want to offer those standards. And the regulator goes and checks that they are offering those standards. It needs to be industry-led TVET system. We need to get this ASAP. I will miss number 3, senior secondary career coaching and data trends and pathways. We need to get career counselors back in the school system. People who are not only teachers, but people who have got vast knowledge of labor market dynamics. We don't want to be teaching them, okay, become doctors, lawyers, and nurses. No. We want them to have pulse on the labor market, nationally, regionally, and internationally. We need multiple pathways from Form 4, Year 10, Year 11, Year 12. Not all are academically oriented. So we need multiple pathways and multiple entries. As I was discussing with my good friend Dr. Baljit before the session, data-driven investment in academic planning. All I'm presenting to you is the data. And we are big time into trend analysis on data. And the budget submission that will be from TSLS to the government will be very much backed by the data. Where we are funded, where students have graduated, where we need more people, and what are the reasons we are investing in them, the students are not completing. Vinaka.